So today we're going to look at arranging for and preparing for a mix. So this is what you do obviously once you've got all your parts and you're getting ready to start the mix down process, and there's a few things you've got to do just to clear it up. Okay, so there's things we can do here like create markers. So here we've got a marker track, we can create markers there, and here we can see those markers. And they just allow us to see which parts of the track we're looking at. Okay, the song here that we're looking at starts on bar 2, which allows a space for the guitar and clavinet to pick up notes at the end of bar 1. If you just listen to that, we can hear those notes. The whole song is composed of 8-bar regions, which makes it really easy for us to forward and rewind between parts using the fast forward and rewind, the shift and arrow keys on Logic. Most popular music is comprised of 8-bar changes. That's very common. So you can listen to all of the different parts, except for the first chorus. The choruses are fairly empty, so we're going to look at how we can fill those in later on. To identify the material you're going to edit in the arrangement, you have to listen to individual instruments. You can use the solo buttons on the track headers to do this, but another way we can do it is just by selecting our region. If we select the kick track and press S, then it selects just that region, and we can just press the down arrow whilst we're in play mode or not. You might get a little bit of a drag if you're in play mode, but that's easily remedied just by stopping and pressing start again. Incidentally, this is 08 Dark Side, if you haven't opened it already, which is in the usual place on the CMS drive in the resources folder. Remember to save it to your own location so you're not recording over the original file. Okay, so we can use that. I just want to draw your attention to the backing vocals down here. If we want to listen to a group of tracks, we just highlight them all like this using the drag rectangle to select those whole regions. And while we're in solo mode, it will select all of those. Okay, so if we press S again just to come out of solo mode. We're going to look at using existing material to fill in parts now. So sometimes we can use material that we've just recorded just to try it out and experiment later on in the mixing process. At this point, just before we start the mixing process, we can make those final decisions about which ones we're going to choose. So first of all, we're going to look at filling in the bass track. So the bass track is on channel 7, just here. Okay, if we zoom in on the first bass track region on track 7, I'm just going to zoom around it using Control and Alt, just there, so we can see it. Okay, I'll just drag that up to align it next to the bar measures. And if you listen to that, you can see that the bass player missed the first downbeat, which happens just here. If we listen back to that, there's no bass actually there, so he misses that first downbeat. So what we're going to do is copy that over. Okay, so he played an extra bar at the beginning of the following verse over here. So you can cut the bass region to create a loop that starts on the second bar of the chorus, bar 3, and then ends on the second bar of the verse at bar 11. So just here. And that's what we're actually exactly going to do now. So we can obviously make sure that we've got our command click set to the marquee tool. So we can hold that down and it brings up the marquee tool. You can see that up here in your left click tool. It should be there anyway. It's default when the session opens. Okay, and we're going to make a selection between bar 3 to 11. So just hold down the command tool and go roughly. It should be pretty easy to do it because our snap is set to smart. So between 3 and 11, we're going to make a selection there. And then we're going to press Control C to, if you remember, to crop to that selection. Okay, so the two regions outside the marquee selection are deleted and a region corresponding to the marquee selection remains. You will now copy the first bar of the verse, bar 10, just up here, to the beginning of the chorus, bar 2, to fill in the missing first bar. So using the marquee tool, we're going to select the first bar of the verse up here. So again, Command, select the first bar there. And we're going to Option drag the marquee selection to the beginning of the chorus at bar 2. The marquee selection is pasted and as a new 1 bar region at the beginning of the chorus. While it looks as if the first bar of the verse is temporarily divided, while you're copying it, the 8 bar bass region you cropped earlier is automatically healed when you release the mouse button. So just hold down Alt and drag that across. You've got to make sure you release the mouse button first and then release the Option key. Okay, so we're going to Option drag that along, so there, and we're going to make sure we release the mouse button first, like that, and then the Option key. And you can see that that's healed that there. If I deselect outside of that region now, that's no longer a separate section. Okay, you can now loop the 8 bar bass region, this second part, on its own. Okay, so we're going to click the 8 bar bass region outside of the marquee selection, just like I've done there, and then press L to loop it. And the 8 bar bass region is looped until the next region on the track. If we just zoom out a little bit, there we go. So, since the bass region starts 1 bar after the beginning of the first chorus, all the repeats start 1 bar after the beginning of a section, and the last repeat is only 7 bars long, this one here. So we're going to Option click anywhere in the arrange area to zoom out. So Control Option click to zoom out fully. And we're going to go to the beginning of the song and press the space bar. And obviously we just check and see if the bass is okay. It should be okay
Days we don't know.
from the start.
Some days.
Okay, so it's good. You can now copy the bass regions to the 4 choruses near the end of the song. Okay, so we can see these just here. This is a bass bridge, and these are the choruses there. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to select both bass regions at the beginning of the song. Okay, so just drag around those to select those there. Okay, we're going to hold down the mouse button on the first region, so this one, and we're going to Option drag the selection after the bridge on bar 50. So hold down Alt or Option, whatever you want to call it, and we're just going to drag that, and we can see in our help tag that we're on bar 50, 111 there. I'm just going to drop it there. Sometimes it doesn't do it straight away. I don't know why, it's weird, but you can see in my help tag it says I'm copying regions. And as long as it says copy regions or automation, and you drop it at 5111, it should eventually just do that. Normally it takes a few tries on my machine. On your machine it might just be right. There we go. So you drop it in there. Okay, so both regions are copied, and the second bass region of the copy is looped like the original. You still need to adjust the number of repeats at the end of the song. So we're going to scroll to the end of the song. Here we go. At the end of the last chorus, we're going to zoom in on the bass track and the 3 tracks below it. So at the end of the last chorus here, and the 3 tracks below it, down to the Moog here. So Option, Control, I'm just going to drag around that area there. Might need to just zoom out a little bit. There we go. Okay, so when you Option Control drag the green selection rectangle to zoom in, make sure that the rectangle is high enough to cover the 4 tracks, but only about 2 or 3 bars wide. This is we've zoomed out too far here, so we just need a few bars, 2 or 3 bars, so from 83 to 80. So I'm going to Option Control, I'm going to drag in to those areas again. Okay, so we can see it in a little bit more detail. There we go, just like that. Okay, you can see where the chorus ends, just there. It's in the marker track. Okay, so notice that the guitar and clavinet still play one final note on the downbeat of bar 82. So just here, they're all playing an extra note, or the guitar and the clavinet are anyway. You want the bass to stop right after playing that last note along with the other instruments. Okay, we don't want it to carry on like it's doing at the moment. So we're going to click in the background of the arrange area to deselect all or press Command Shift A. This ensures that you will only edit one region when you zoom in on the end of the bass region repeats and not the two selected regions. Okay, so we're going to position the pointer over the upper part of the bass loop repeats so that the pointer turns into a loop tool, like so. We're going to drag the loop to stop the repeats after the last note. Okay, so after the last note, just there. Okay. And make sure that we catch the whole of that last note, so we're just like that. Okay. If you listen to the end of a song, we can make sure that the bass plays and the last bass plays the last note along with the drums, guitar, and the clavinet. We can option click anywhere in the arrange area to zoom out. So option click like that to zoom back out. Okay, and now we're going to look at experimenting with other, with the order of regions. So we're going to position the playhead around bar 37 and listen to the transition from the chorus to the bridge. And we can hear that the root note of the bass is changing when the bridge starts, making the transition strong. Okay, so let's just zoom out there. Bar 37, so we can hear that there.
Pressing on. We're gonna see the light. We don't know. Hard time. Gotta keep on, keep on, keep on. Everything.
So we can hear the root note of the bass is changing when the bridge starts, and that makes for a good transition. If we keep listening and listen to the transition from the bridge to the next chorus, the root note of the bass remains the same for the second half of the bridge and the first half of the next chorus, which doesn't make the transition as strong. So what can we do? We can change that. So on the bass track, we can zoom in on the bass bridge region. So on the bass track here, the bass bridge region, let's just zoom somewhere around that, like that, okay, so we can see it. Okay. Okay. You're going to cut the bass bridge region in two with the scissor tool. So we can access the scissor tool. Let's just bring this up a little bit so we can see it a bit better. Press escape, and we're going to choose the scissor tool, which is tool number 5. Okay, we're going to drag the scissor tool over the bass region and do not release the mouse button yet. As you drag, the region is selected, solo mode is automatically turned on, and the scissors tool allows you to scrub the audio region. So, just like this. When you locate the precise position, when the help tag reads 46111, we're going to release the mouse button, and it's immediately cut at that point. You now have two 4-bar regions, bass bridge dot 1 and bass bridge dot 2. Next, you'll shuffle the order of those regions to make it a little bit more interesting. At the top right of the arrange area, we're going to click the drag pop-up menu here, and we're going to choose shuffle right or shuffle R. Okay. The shuffle mode allows you to swap the positions of regions by dragging one over the other. You don't have to be precise when dragging regions in shuffle mode. Even if you barely drag a region over the other, the two will be shuffled. Okay, so you're going to press escape twice to get rid of the scissor tool and go back to the arrow tool there. And we're going to drag bass bridge dot 2 toward the left over bass bridge dot 1. Okay, when you release the mouse, the two regions will swap positions. So there we go. And now they're just swapped. 2's there, 1's there. Okay. So if we zoom out to see the whole song again, and I'm just going to press Z. Actually, I'm just going to click in the background, arrange area, Option, Control, click. And we position the playhead around bar 38 and listen to the transition from the chorus to the bridge. The root note of the bass changes from the transition from the chorus to the bridge. So let's have a listen to that.
Gotta keep on, keep on, keep on. Everything will be alright. Yeah, gonna be alright.
And if we now listen to the transition from the bridge back into the chorus, we can hear that the root note changes again. A bit more interesting.
Be alright. Gonna be alright. Someday.
Okay, so it just makes it a lot stronger than it was before. It gives it that that transition a bit more energy and a bit more angle. Okay, so we're going to go to the drag menu now and choose overlap, because we don't want it to shuffle. And we're going to look at packing regions into folders. Okay, so folders are regions that can contain other regions. They're a powerful arrangement tool because once you pack multiple regions into a folder, you can edit the entire contents of the folder by editing the folder itself. So we're going to pack the vocal regions into folders and use those folders to flesh out the choruses that are lacking backup vocals. So when folders are packed, a folder track is created above the selected track. So you must first select the desired track, depending on where you want your folder to be placed. So we're going to click the BU down here, BU mid L track, which is the first backup vocal track. We're going to select all the backup vocal regions in the first chorus. So we're going to go back to the start here, and we're going to select all of these in the first chorus, like so. Okay, we're now ready to pack the selected region into a folder. So from the Arrange Areas local menu bar, we're going to choose Region, Folder, Pack Folder, Region, Folder, Pack Folder, or Shift Command F. Okay, and you can see now it's just placed it above in a folder track, and they're all in there. Okay, it just cleans up, helps us to clean up our session a bit more. Okay, so let's rename the folder track and the folder. We're going to double click on the folder track name, and we're going to enter chorus BU. So just here, chorus BU, and we're going to choose escape and choose the text tool like we've done before, and we're going to click into here, and we're going to call that chorus backups. Okay, there we go. Okay, now let's copy the chorus backups folder to the other choruses. You see, now that we've done all that, it's much easier for us to just copy that straight across and loop that folder. Just makes things very much easier. Okay, so we're going to option drag the chorus backups folder to copy it to the second chorus at bar 18. So press escape twice to go back to the arrow tool, hold down Alt, option, and we're going to drag that over to the next chorus at bar 18.111, like so. Okay, we're also going to copy the folder to the third and fourth choruses on bars 34 and 50 respectively. So option drag to bar 34, and then again to bar 50, just there. Okay, we're going to use the loop tool to repeat the last chorus backups folder just once. So again, we can use the loop tool here, so we can just drag that and we're going to make it just go once. There we see, just once is there. Okay, the repeats stop where the next backup vocal regions begin. So let's pack the remaining backup vocal regions into a new folder and use it for the two last choruses. When a folder track is selected, packing a folder inserts the new folder region onto the selected folder track, which you've already got selected. So we're going to select the remaining backup vocal regions in the chorus just before the final chorus, just here. So let's just make sure we can see all of those. There we go, and we're just going to select all of those, like so. and we're going to press Command Shift F, and those get packed up into there. Okay, let's rename it to Chorus HMM. Chorus. So we're going to choose Escape and Text Tool again, and we're going to click on that. We're going to call it Chorus. There we go. Excellent. Okay, we can use the loop tool to repeat the chorus folder just once, so that it goes for the rest of the track. So press Escape twice, choose the loop tool, and make sure it just loops. There we go, till the end of the song, last chorus. Okay, all the choruses in the song now have backups. But since all the backup vocal tracks are now empty, you can delete them and clean up the track list. So you can start making things a little bit cleaner, and that's another advantage of the folders track. So from the Arrange Areas local menu bar, we're going to choose Track Delete Unused. So Track Delete Unused there. Okay, and there we go. Just gets rid of all those tracks, and now we can see everything without having to scroll down on the page, which is very useful. Okay. So you now have a sense of how useful folders can be. There are many more applications for folders, so try to keep them in mind when you organise your arrange area. You can also divide folders and edit them in the same way you edit any region. For example, a lot of producers pack an entire song into a folder and then cut the folder into sections to experiment with changing the section order. And we can do that here because we've got the sections already placed up here, so keep that in mind. What we're going to look at next is how to slice and double a percussion part. Okay, so again we're looking at using existing material to flesh out our tracks. So on the claps track, track 6, just up here, you'll find a recording of a few hand claps. It works well, but you can make it more exciting. You're going to use the audio region to create a stereo hand clap part for the entire song. That's just one hand clap. So we're going to divide the region into single hand clap hits and rearrange the hand claps on 2 tracks, panned left and right, to create a stereo effect. Slicing the hand claps will prepare you for the next exercise, in which you will shuffle the order of the individual slices. So if we go back to the beginning of the song and listen to the hand claps, the musician claps along with the snare on the 2nd and 4th beats of each bar. First, you will slice the claps region into 2 beat regions, each containing 1 clap. So we're going to press Escape and choose the scissor tool. So press Escape and choose the scissor tool again. Actually, let's just press Z to zoom into the claps track there. Now we're going to use the scissors tool to divide the region into multiple regions of equal length. If we position the scissors tool after the first clap, so in between the first clap and the second clap here, when we press Alt, we see a little plus sign comes up, indicating that you're about to divide the region into multiple regions. So we're going to Option drag the scissors tool and then release the button when the help tag reads 2311. So I'm holding down Alt, I'm going to hold down a mouse key, and I'm just going to use this until it says 2311, like that. I'll let it go, and it divides it all into equal parts. Okay, very useful. So notice that as you option drag with the tool, the help tag reads divide multiple, so you know what you're doing. When you release the mouse button, it's divided into 12 2-beat regions, each containing 1 single hand clap. You now prepare to create a stereo effect from these regions by panning the existing claps track hard left, all the way to the left, and then creating another track and panning it hard right. So we're going to select the claps track header, which selects all of the tracks. And we're going to drag the pan over here so it reads -64, like so, just down here. So the audio signal on that track will now only be heard in the left speaker. Okay, it's playing fully in the left speaker. At the top of the arrange area, we're going to choose, well, we can duplicate this track. We can click duplicate track, or we can just press Command D, and that duplicates everything about that track. Okay. It doesn't duplicate anything on it, but just the track itself. So now we've got one that looks the same. It's got these little wood block symbols on it. Helps us to visualize what we're doing. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to name these. Okay, so this one we're going to name claps left or claps L, and this one we're going to name claps right or claps R, and on this one we're going to push it all the way the other side to plus 63. Okay, so it's all the way in the right hand. Okay, so let's move some of the claps regions to the new track. If we press escape twice and choose our arrow tool again, in the arrange area we're going to select the last 6 claps regions and drag them below the first 6 claps regions. So here we go, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're going to drag those down here and then drag them to the same place underneath here. Okay, so we've got 6 claps in stereo now. Okay, you may want to solo the 2 claps tracks to hear the results. Obviously have a go at that. You can hear a nice stereo effect on the claps. It sounds like 2 musicians clapping their hands together. Obviously these claps are slightly different to these ones, which is great. It sounds like 2 musicians. Okay, let's fill in the whole song with claps. So we're going to zoom out to see the whole song. So click in the background, the arrange area, press Option Control to zoom all the way out. No, it's not letting us do that. Okay, there we go. You can see the whole track, whole song. So we're going to select all the claps regions on both tracks and then choose region, repeat regions, or press Command R, and we're going to select the number of copies to be 26. So I'm just going to drag around all of those, Command R, type in 26, press Enter, and there we go. Okay, copies of the selected tracks fill the whole song. However, you will need to delete a few extra claps regions at the end. So we zoom in on the last claps regions, just here, and we can see that we don't need these last 4 there. So we're going to select around those and just delete them. Okay, so we've just taken a simple 6-bar mono recording of a few hand claps and turned it into a stereo hand clap part spanning the whole entire song. Slicing the original region into single hand hit claps regions will allow you to rearrange the order of individual hits. So let's look at humanizing a percussion part now. In the previous exercise we sliced the hand claps into regions of 1 hand clap each. This allows you to swap the positions of individual hand claps, thereby randomizing the pattern to give the claps a more natural feel. So in this exercise we're going to first pack all the hand clap regions into a folder. Inside the folder we're going to shuffle the regions to randomize them and then create accents by moving the louder hand claps to the beginning of the verses and choruses. So we're going to click the claps L track header just here. All the regions on claps L are selected. I'm going to shift click the claps R track header, shift click, so they're all selected as well. And now all claps regions on both tracks are selected. We're going to choose region, folder, pack folder, or press Command Shift F as we did before. I'll just undo that because I want to make sure that this track header is selected, and I'm going to shift click that one. But I want to make sure if we click that, so make sure this track header is selected, okay? And if we press Shift Command F now, they'll both go above where that said claps left. Okay, and from the arrange area's local menu, we're going to choose track delete unused. The track delete unused again to get rid of those. Okay, if we zoom back out, we can see that now. Okay, we're going to double click the new folder, track header, and enter claps. So we know what it is. We're going to double click the folder to open it, and it opens it up in its own bespoke arrange area like this. And it only displays the contents of the folder, which includes all the clap regions, obviously. Now we're going to shuffle the individual hand claps to randomise their positions. At the top right of the arrange area, we're going to set the drag mode to shuffle R again. So shuffle R. We're going to zoom in on the first chorus. So let's just option control, zoom in on the first chorus, like so. And we're going to randomise the hand claps and their positions. Notice how some of the hand claps are louder than others. Their waveforms show a taller transient. So this one is much taller than this one. It's much louder. We don't want that one there. We want it here because we want it to be accenting the downbeat, preferably. Otherwise it sounds weird. We're going to try swapping the louder claps with the first regions in each 8-bar section. So if we just select one and drag it there, it's going to shuffle it right. So now we've got a louder one and a quieter one. And the same thing we can do just there. Okay. If we do that for each 8-bar section, then that will sound better. Okay. So there they are, each 8-bar section. There's the first one, and here we go. So so from bar 2 to 9, and then we can swap those round. Okay, so obviously shuffle R means we need to move them to the left to shuffle it. Don't try to drag a region onto on the other track, or you will insert that region on the track you're dragging it to. Okay, you'll end up with an unequal number of regions on each track. So take a few minutes to swap a few claps here and there and listen to your results. You only need to randomise a few claps for the part to sound more natural. So have a go at that. See what it sounds like. As you prepare to drag a claps region, you may notice that the arrange area updated its content before you had a chance to drag the region. This is due to catch mode, which is turned on by default when you start playback. Catch mode makes the visible part of the arrange area or other editors update to follow the playhead position. The catch mode is blue when catch mode is on, and we can see it up here, that's blue. So if we don't want it to be where we are, then we can deselect that. Okay, we're going to zoom in horizontally until about 6 claps regions fill the arrange area. Okay, so it doesn't really matter where they are. If we go back to first chorus here, we zoom in on the first 6. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you say 7, right around there. So option control, drag in and have a look at those there. And if we start playback around about there, we can verify that area's content catch mode is on. There we go.
Some days we don't know.
It appears blue there. Okay, each time the playhead reaches the end of the visible section, the arrange area's content automatically jumps to the right to follow the playhead. So once we get to that, it will move on, like so.
Oh, sweet down to the dark side. But if we keep pressing on, we're gonna see the light.
Okay. When we reach the point that we actually want to edit, we can take that off again so that it doesn't go past that when we're trying to edit. Okay. So the catch mode is off. If playout continues here, the arrange area stops automatically updating its content to follow the playhead, and it will just be where it is. So now we can just watch this bit.
Some days we don't know how we gonna make it through the hard times. If we keep pressing on, everything.
Okay, and that allows us to not worry too much about watching what's going on there. Okay, so we're going to drag one claps region over another to swap their positions. When you are done working in the visible section of the arrange area, you can turn on catch mode again to see the playhead position. Okay, if we zoom out to see all the regions in the folder, so select all, press Z, you can see all the regions in that folder. At the top of the arrange area, we're going to click the hierarchy button. Okay, the hierarchy button is this button here, and that takes us back up to the original track. Okay, so let's click in the background in the arrange area somewhere. Let's deselect all, and we're going to set the drag mode to overlap up here. And now we're going to look at adding and deleting sections. So artists often get so involved in the creative process of writing a song that they may not see the bigger picture and arrive at an ideal structure for the song. So producers and A&R representatives may suggest adding an introduction or may want to shorten the song so that the chorus comes in earlier and the song's length is more suitable for radio play, for example. So sometimes a shorter radio mix will be produced while a longer mix is produced for the album. So in the following exercises, we're going to insert and cut sections in the project to add an introduction and cut a chorus. So first we're going to add an introduction. So to create an introduction, we're going to insert 8 bars of silence at the top of the song and fill the new 8 bars with the desired material. So the position and length of the cycle area determines where the silence will be inserted and how long it will be. So for the introduction, you're going to insert 8 bars. So in the bar ruler, we're going to drag an 8-bar cycle area starting on bar 1. So at the moment, it's just there. I'm going to drag it to so it says 8 bars like that. Okay, and in the arrange area local menu, we're going to choose edit, cut or insert time. So edit, cut or insert time, and then insert silence between locators, and that creates 8 bars of silence in between those locator points that we'd set. Okay, you can now create an introduction in that section. So we're going to copy the chorus folder to add backup vocals to the introduction, then add a lead vocal audio file that's stored in the project's audio bin. So in the arrange area, we're going to click the background to deselect all regions, scroll to the end of the song, and we're going to find those chorus over there, and we're going to option drag the chorus folder to bar 2111. So we're going to select it there, we're going to option drag it back to bar 2111. Just drop it in there. Okay, make sure that's copied it and not deleted it. Excellent. So there we go. So remember, when a region is looped, the loop repeats will end automatically at the beginning of the next region on that track. So when copying the looped chorus region with the snap mode set to overlap, the repeats are automatically trimmed at the beginning of the chorus backups region after it. So automatically trimmed there. We're going to add now the lead vocal audio file, which is located in the audio bin, to this part. So in the toolbar on the right, we're going to click Media up here, or you can press B on your keyboard, and that'll open up the bin. In the audio bin, we're going to scroll all the way down to find the intro lead vocal audio region. So you can see that down here, intro lead vocal. I'm going to drag the intro lead vocal to the lead vocal track at bar 211. Okay, so the lead vocal track is just here, track 11. So we're going to drag that in to bar 2111, just there. In the bar rule here, we're going to click the cycle area to turn off cycle mode, or just press C on your keyboard. And we're going to press B again to get rid of the bin there. And if you listen to the new a cappella introduction, it now commands your attention and pulls you into the first chorus, and sounds much better than the instrumental starts. Let's have a listen to that.
Some days we don't know how close we come to the dark side.
Some days we don't know
If we keep pressing on, you know we gonna
how
see
close
the
we
light.
come to the
Some
dark
days we
side.
don't know How we gonna make it through the hard times? Hard times. But if we keep pressing on, everything will be alright. Some days we don't know.
Okay, so there we go. We've created ourselves an intro. Okay, so we're going to look at cutting a section next. First playing the song while skipping sections until you find which section you want to cut. So to do this, we're going to use a skip cycle area, which you define by dragging a cycle area, but from right to left instead of left to right. So in the upper half of the bar ruler, we're going to drag right to left from bar 50 to 42. So up here, from bar 50 here to bar 42. Oops, sorry, in the actual bar ruler area. There we go. And that creates this, which allows us to skip this chorus area here. It simply won't play that section if we started just before. So we can preview parts of the song. We maybe think, oh, maybe we'll get rid of that chorus. Let's listen to it without having to cut everything out. We can just preview what it sound like without that chorus. Okay, that's another really useful thing. So, when the playhead reaches the skipped cycle area, it jumps the bridge, skipping the whole 8-bar chorus there. So, the new transition from the verse to the bridge is not so pleasing, so we're going to try something else. So we're going to drag the skip area to the next chorus just after the bridge. So we can just hold it down and we can just drag it along to this next bit and then preview that. And actually it takes us straight into the chorus hums, which sounds better, and there's less choruses on the end of the song, which also sounds better. Okay. So it gives us a way of previewing different arrangements. Okay. So we don't want that now. We're going to take it out. So from the arrange area, local menu, we're going to choose edit, cut insert time, snip, cut section between locators. So we're going to choose edit, cut insert time, snip, cut section between locators. And it just gets rid of that whole section straight away. So immediately everything there, without us having to go through and use a scissor tool to select that particular area. It just selects that whole region and cuts everything within that within that area, which is really, really useful. Obviously, if you know you definitely don't want that bit. Okay. So we're going to click the this area here to turn it off, and now we're going to look at how we can mute sections of the song, or even just sections of an instrument. Okay, so we're going to work with the Moog keyboard track in this exercise, listening to how the performance of the keyboardist affects the vocal tracks. We're going to mute sections of the Moog where it overlaps the vocals, allowing space in the mix for the vocals to naturally stand out. In the first chorus and first verse, zoom in on the Moog and lead vocal tracks. So here's the lead vocal tracks, and the Moog is the one above it, and we're going to zoom in on the first chorus and first verse. Okay, so that's just here. Option Control. First chorus and first verse. There we go. And we want the lead vocal and Moog, like so. Okay, if you start playback at the beginning of the first chorus, you'll notice that sometimes the Moog complements the vocals nicely, answering them by playing a little melody, but sometimes it clearly overlaps the vocal performance. Let's just have a little listen to that to start.
Some days we don't know, close we come to the dark side. But if we keep pressing on, then we gonna see the light. Some days we don't know, how we gonna make it through the hard times.
So that bit there, just at bar 15, obviously, you know, it's causing a bit of a problem. It's overlapping the vocals. What we're going to do, don't bother looking at the help tag for this exercise. You're going to use your waveform reading skills and your ears. Okay, so we're going to use the marquee tool to make a selection over the Moog area there. So hold down Command. We're just going to select over that region there, and we're going to press M on the keyboard, and that immediately mutes that track. Okay. So now if we listen back to that and see how that sounds.
Some days we don't know how we gonna make it through the hard times. But if we keep pressing on, everything will be alright. Everybody's watching.
Okay, so now we can see that's given space for the vocals to come out. Okay, but if you want to toggle between that, we can press M to toggle in between muting or unmuting that. Okay, we're going to command drag the marquee tool over the Moog note in bar 18. So there's bar 18. Command drag over that section there. Then we're going to mute it by pressing M. The marquee selection is divided into a region, and the region is muted, obviously. Continue listening to the entire mood track and mute all the sections of the mood track that, in your judgment, are taken away from the vocals. You may find that you want to mute a large amount of the mood performance, starting with all the repeated notes between bars 19 and 22, for example, that you're really getting in the way. So just go through, have a selection, mute them, see if it sounds better. Okay. Next, we're going to look at cleaning up noisy recordings. So at the end of the arrangement process, you have to make sure that your song is ready for the next step. Okay, you want to make sure there's no unnecessary noise that can blur the mix. Okay. You already learned how to clean up edit points and avoid audible clicks in lesson 3. So now we're going to clean up the kick track and the guitar track using 2 additional techniques. So first we're going to remove snare leakage from the kick track, okay, because usually we pick up a lot of the snare in there. Okay, and we're going to do that using a feature called Strip Silence that automatically cuts out portions of a recording that fall below a certain specific volume threshold. Okay, so a bit like a gate, but actually allows us just to cut those bits out. Okay, so if we go back up, we've got the kick track here. You can select that. Okay, it's easier to use Strip Silence on a shorter audio region. So we're first going to cut a small portion from the kick region, so we can focus on just looking at that. So we're going to zoom to see the whole song, and zoom in on the kick track to see the first chorus. So here we are, we can see the first chorus here. Let's go in a little bit further. We can just literally see that first chorus. Okay. So we're going to command drag the marquee tool over the first half of the first chorus, just over the first half. So from before the kick region starts to just after the first downbeat of bar 14. So down command, and drag it over there. There's bar 14, just the first downbeat is there. So we're just going to drag it over that, just there. Actually, let's just make that a little bit further. Just click in the range area and drag that out. Let's drag over so we get that last little bit there on the first downbeat. Okay. Using the pointer tool, we're going to click the marquee selection to divide it into a new region, like that. So we click into it, divides it into a new region. And we're going to press S to solo that region. Okay, in the transport bar, we're going to click play from selection button, or press shift enter, or double click in the bar ruler up here. Okay, and you can hear that the snare is sounding in there. Okay, in the background. So if you count the number of kick drum hits in the region, using both your ears and your eyes to read the waveform, you should count 16 beats. So let's listen to that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, 16 beats. So we're going to use the strip silence to cut the selected region into 16 regions, each containing 1 drum hit, and in so doing remove the snare drum hits. So from the Arrange Areas local menu bar, choose Audio Strip Silence or press Ctrl X. I'm going to press Ctrl X. So we've got the window appears here showing you how the region will be edited, and we can see it's going to cut out any of these regions in between these bits that have been selected. Okay, here we've got the strip silence parameters down here, and number of audio regions that will be remaining after over here after we have done our editing. Okay, so okay, looking at the waveform, you can see that some of the resulting regions, for example the first and third regions, consist of snare drum hits. So that's a snare drum hit, that's a snare drum hit. We know it is because it's quieter. It's those sounds that are in the background. Yeah, snare drum, bass drum. The bass drums are much louder because the microphone was nearer to them. Okay. You will need to adjust the parameters at the bottom left of the strip silence window until the strip silence creates only 16 regions containing only the kick drum hits. The threshold parameter adjusts the minimum volume that strip silence detects to create a region. You need to raise the threshold so that the snare drum hits don't create regions. Let's drag that threshold value up to 5. So here, let's drag that up, go up to 5, there we go, like that. Strip silence now creates 16 regions, which we can see over here. Okay, and we can see that the threshold's too high now to recognise those snare drum hits. Okay, we're going to leave the default settings for the other parameters, but notice that the pre-attack time here is set to 0.006 seconds. This makes sure that each region starts 6 milliseconds before the attack detected by the strip silence, and that means we've got a little tiny gap just before the transient. Okay, so it gives us a little bit of space. So we're going to click OK, and hey presto, it's done it. Okay, so since the regions are selected and solo mode is turned on, the regions are soloed and you can listen to your results. Okay, you can hear all of the kick drums but no longer hear any of the snare. Okay, the regions are so short that you can barely see a waveform. Let's press S again to zoom out of that, and let's just click in the background and just click on 1 and press Z so we can zoom in and see that waveform. Zoom out a little bit. There we go. And we can see that whole waveform is in there. Notice the black vertical line here that indicates the position of the anchor in the audio region. Although strip silence places the region at the region starts 6 milliseconds before the attack, it automatically positions the anchor on the attack of the sound. Okay, that's where the attack is happening. So that if we want to place that anywhere else, it will snap to that particular area, making it easier to place. Okay, this is helpful if you need to reposition the audio region on the grid, for example. It will just snap to it. So let's zoom out and turn off solo mode if you haven't done already. So Option Control click in the background, zoom out, and click in the background and press Z to zoom out fully. Now we're going to look at reducing a wah noise from the guitar track. Okay, so we're going to use a processing plugin called Denoiser to reduce the noise of the guitarist's wah-wah effect pedal on the guitar track. So on the guitar track header, just here, just going to click it there. I'm going to click the solo button this time. Listen back to that. And start the playback anywhere in the song. So here we do. You can clearly hear the noise of the guitarist's wah-wah pedal in between each of the notes if you listen carefully. In fact, you can hear the wah modulate the frequency of the noise when the guitar is not playing. Obviously, we don't want this, so we can use the Denoiser plugin to reduce that noise. So if we click the guitar track header, we can see now the channel strip over here in the inspector. Okay, and from the inserts, we're going to choose Specialized and Denoiser. Okay, choose that, and that brings up the Denoiser track. Okay, and this is great. We can reduce noise using this. So how does it work? At the top right of the denoiser plugin, just up here, we're going to click the settings field and choose Effect Wah Wah Denoiser. So, where's that? Under Factory here, Effect Wah Wah Denoiser. And that brings up that setting. Okay, if we press Command W, just close that plugin window. As you listen to the soloed guitar track, we're going to option click the denoiser plugin on the channel strip to toggle it on and off to hear that difference. Let's listen to that. So if we press Alt or Option and we click that, it will bypass it. So let's listen to it firstly without it, and then we're going to bring it in somewhere after listening to it. So here we go. And in. And off again. So we can hear now that it's a lot clearer. Now we've just denoised that track, and you can go through and you can get rid of, you can strip silence the rest of the kick track, the snare tracks if you want to. Don't go crazy with it, but it can be very useful for getting rid of lots of background noise. Background noise is obviously a killer in mix because it's all, there's frequencies in there, across the whole spectrum that are just adding to all the other frequencies in there. And if you want to create a translucent, a nice transparent mix, you want to get rid of as much background noise as we can, okay, to keep it nice and clean. Okay, so that's one way we can do it. There are plenty of other things that you can use, and I surely advise you to go through and have a look at some of those effects and editing techniques. But that's all we're going to cover today, so I hope that helps. Okay.